Worldwide Watching Productions. Worldwide Watching Productions.
Conscious Dimenison, a cyber place where your mind can run free. Conscious Dimenison, independent of the physical space we live in, where broken pieces fit together. Conscious Dimenison, a cyber place where your mind can run free.
There is going to be a global currency reset. Are you catching this? This is not a collapse of the American dollar. This will bring about the American dollar losing its status as the world premier reserve currency. This will cause Washington to be able to say to the American people, we must confiscate your pension funds because we have no more choice. The Chinese aren't showing up to buy our Federal Reserve offers of bonds and T-bills. The Japanese aren't showing up anymore. The oil-rich countries, Saudi Arabia and others, they aren't showing up anymore. They don't trust the American dollar. They've had it. They've done with it. You know what China said a week ago? And they aren't buying them anymore. And it will be an excuse when this global currency reset takes place. It will be an excuse for our president and Congress to come out and say, folks, we have no choice. Either collapse the entire country immediately, or you're going to have to let us go into your pension funds and take them. And this will be the excuse that they use. I've already been told this. Then, shortly after that, or within the same time frame, you may have a currency devaluation. But it won't mean banks closing. They don't want that yet. It's not time. That's a year to a year and a half from now. But there are certain things that you've got to do between now and January 1. Have you noticed how much gold China is buying? And then I'm going to come back to global currency reset. Did you know that China is the largest purchaser of gold on the face of the earth? I want to give you some here. August 2013, China bought 131 metric tons of gold. September 2013, they imported 116 metric tons of gold. Last month, in fact, for the past 2 months, or I should say for the last month, China has imported 100 metric tons of gold. The year 2011 and 2012, China's been doing this because they saw what was on the horizon. They know what's going to take place. They're involved in all this. For the years 2011 and 2013, those 2 years alone, China imported 2,232 metric tons of gold in 24 months. This is equal to the world's entire mine gold supply for 1 year. You realize that China is buying all this up? Not the rest of the world. Why? They know what's about to take place. And they know that the only thing that anything can be backed by is gold and silver. And we're making no preparations in America. All we're doing is creating debt. China is creating gold. Now, the figures that I just gave you do not include the amount of gold that is being mined within the country of China itself, which may be equal to the amount that they're importing. We don't know because they don't have to tell us how much they mine within the country. So China is definitely preparing for global currency reset. Now, I'm going to give you some statistics and facts. You just have to sit back and watch it happen. I'm begging for you to take precautions before it does. Within the next 3 months, you heard me correctly, within the next 90 days or less, it could take place tomorrow morning. It could take place a week from now. But within the next 3 months' time, the World Bank, the IMF, in conjunction with the elite, and by the way, may I say that many congressmen in Washington know this. I have this on authority from my friend, and our president knows this. He knows it good and well. They know that there's going to be a global currency reset, not collapse, not devaluation, a reset. Please catch the words carefully. And now I'll try to give you some details on this, if I may. And you'll notice that I'm picking my words very carefully because there's certain things I can say and certain things I can't say. Certain things, if I said, I'd get in trouble. So I'm trying to help all of America to know this now. This event is planned within 3 months' time, barring divine intervention. It will happen. There are 204 countries that have agreed to allow their currencies to be revalued. Please catch my wording here very carefully. 204 countries, and they've agreed with the IMF to revalue their currency. They have promised the IMF that they will keep their currency within 5% differential of each other. That means there'll be no more currency wars once this is done. They want to do away with them because they want total control for the New World Order. And in order to bring in what they want, they've got to do it this way. There will be no announcement ahead of time. You will not know this until you wake up one morning, and it's probably on every newscast out there that there has been a global currency reset. It probably won't upset you too much at the first because the banks won't be closed. Now, I'm giving you the order of events as has been told to me. The banks will not be closed. They will not ask you to bring the money in that you have between the mattress. They are not going to diminish your bank account. So more than likely, the average American will hear our president say, the world, under the auspices of the IMF, and we agree with them, is probably going to experience has just experienced a global currency reset. And you'll say, well, so what? I just checked my bank account. Everything's fine. Everything will be fine for a few weeks until people really find out what it is. Give you some examples here. Currencies are going to be reset according to the IMF. Now, many of you know who is the new financial head of the IMF as of just a matter of weeks ago. Miss Christine Lagarde from France. And she is determined this is going to happen within 90 days' time. The currencies will be reset according to the assets of the country. This is where the catch comes in. And please bear with me in trying to explain this, because it is a little technical. What are assets of Great Britain? What are the assets of Russia? What are the assets of China? What are the assets of the United States of America? And if they reset the value of the currency, and all of the other currencies of these 204 will have a differential of no more than 5%, that means that the United States dollar can have no more than a 5% differential between China's and Japan's and the European Union's. Are you beginning to get the catch here? And when this reset takes place, the reset of the currency will be based upon the assets of the country. Let me try to explain the assets of America. America has more debt than all the rest of the world combined. Take everything in the world and combine it, and America has more debt. How much assets do we have? In light of the fact that the only thing America has is debt, and your American dollar is going to be reset down 30% of what its value is today. I did not say that they were going to go in and take 30% out of your checking account. I did not say that they're going to ask you to take 30% less tomorrow morning for what you're paying at the gas pump. They won't do it this way. They'll do it gradually over a period of time, and I'll try to explain how. American dollar will be scuttled as the reserve currency of the world. As of the date that you hear it announced that we're going to have a global currency reset, there will be never, ever again be the American dollar as the premier reserve currency of the world. It's gone as of then because they are resetting currencies with a 5% differential, so there will be no need anymore for an American reserve premier status currency. There will be a reserve currency. I do not know what it is. They have not told me. They have merely said that there's going to be one. It will not be the American dollar. And the new currency that they will use, and I do not know what it is, but whatever it is, the currency that they use, the IMF uses when they reset the currencies, it will be gold-backed. Right now, there's some things happening that I can't tell you about. There are super wealthy people in the world right now that you've never seen such wealth in all your life as what they're making out of this. They know in advance that it's happening, and they're taking advantage of it. For instance, when Cyprus went in and took the money out of the banks that the people had, they're not going to do that in America. That's not going to be the method they use here. They'll use here global currency reset. And in Cyprus, they went in, closed the banks on a certain day, and said, we'll take out X number of dollars. The super wealthy, the president of Cyprus, many people from Russia who had their money hidden in Cyprus, because Cyprus was the major money laundering country in the world for Russians. They went in days ahead of time and pulled out every penny they had because they knew it was going to happen. The same thing is happening again right now. The super wealthy of the world right now are doing everything necessary to see to it that all of their money is in the new reserve currency of the world. I can't say any more. There are certain congressmen that are becoming filthy rich over this. Some of them don't even know it. I'm not going to go any further. I can't. It's treason. I don't know any other way to put it. And whenever you see this play out, I dare to say that you will be so angry. By that time, I won't be doing any more radio shows. I can't, because I know too much. But there is going to be a global currency reset, and let me try to explain why America's currency will no longer be used as the reserve currency of the world. I'm going to give you some exact figures. I'm going to take the year 2000, and I'm going to use the year 2013, and I'm going to compare. I hope you have notes, pencils going, and if you don't, go back and re-listen to this program, and please write these things down so you'll understand it when it happens. In the year 2000, the national debt of the United States of America was $5.6 trillion. In 2013, it's 17 plus trillion, and I believe exactly what Chris said a moment ago, that the professor said it's so much bigger than this, there's no comparison, but this is what they admit to. That is a 209% increase in 13 years. In the year 2000, the federal yearly budget deficit was $236 billion. In 2013, the yearly budget deficit is $680 billion. That is up 188% in 13 years. Does America have any assets? No, we have nothing but debt. Are you catching this? We have nothing but debt. We do not have assets. This is the reason that the World Bank, China, Japan, the Middle East, they are getting out of the dollar this week. And last week, they're getting out of trillions of American dollars. They're cashing them in right now. They're getting them out. And they're going to be floating around 3 weeks from now. And nobody wants them. You mark my words. I want to go back again. 2000, the Federal Reserve balance sheet was $700 billion. 2013, the Federal Reserve balance sheet was $4 trillion. Let me try to explain briefly the balance sheet. It's made up of money that you buy debt with. That's all it is debt. It's a balance sheet. It's nothing but debt. Mortgage debt, automobile debt, boat debt, any kind of debt there is out there. U.S. Treasury debt that the Federal Reserve has been quantitative easing 1, 2, 3 with. Money out of thin air. Let's go to another one. And you tell me whether we have any assets left in America or not that's not debt. The year 2000, gold was $280 on the average for that year. 2013, average about $1,250. That's up 28.85% in 13 years. Silver in the year 2000 were $4.95. 2013, approximately $25 for the year so far. That's 26.25%. The Dow Jones, let's compare it to gold and silver. And then you see whether you should have taken my advice back years ago when Mr. Fromm told me that their currency was gold and silver. The Dow in 2000 was 11,300 for average that year. 2013, the Dow Jones is 15,300. The Dow is only up 36% in 13 years, an average of 2.77% per year, whereby gold is up, well, you heard it a moment ago, 28.85% per year. Now, looking at those statistics, what is the value of the United States of America? We don't have any. What assets do we have? China has Caterpillar. China has Boeing. China has your clothes manufacturing and your shoes. China has nearly everything on the Walmart and Target shelf. China has everything. And not only do they have General Motors and most of the other manufacturing in America, they also have all the patents. Because the only way that they would ever allow an American company to go into China is to also give the patents and the secrets to those patents to China and whatever China businessman they were doing business with. So China today literally has all of our assets. What do we have? We have some land, sure we do, and we have some debt, and we're well blessed with that. And we have Washington, who knows how to put on a dog and pony show. And now we're coming up to the place that the whole world says, we do not want any longer your currency. We don't trust it. It's ready to fall. The Federal Reserve is having to hold it up to the tune of $85 billion every month in quantitative easing 3 and cannot taper. And we know what's going to happen because eventually all of this must come to an end. Therefore, they're not coming to buy the interest on our debt anymore. And when it's not paid, the dollar will collapse. And you've got approximately a year and a half before that dollar completely, totally collapses. In the meantime, within the next 90 days, if this Christine Lagarde and the IMF have their way, they have planned a global currency reset. And it will affect you in the following way. Please try to understand how this is coming to you. Now that the reset has taken place, and you'll hear it announced, in just a matter of days. And when it takes place, everything from that point on, when the dollar is reset in relation to all the other currencies, if Walmart wants to buy anything from China next month, they're going to pay approximately 30% more for it. That means you won't feel it at Walmart and Target and the hardware store and the grocery store for a month, maybe 2 months. You'll feel it at the gas pump much faster. Probably within 30 days, you're going to see gasoline go up to astronomical prices. You're going to see those products now, because of the global currency reset and the fact that they've cashed in their dollars, and no longer is the dollar the reserve currency, and no longer are they showing up to buy our debt, and no longer can anybody hide this anymore. And now it's becoming apparent within 30 days, and you're wondering, how in the world am I going to be able to make my house payment? And you won't be able to. Because how can you do it when you have to pay 30% more for your hardware store and your groceries and everything that you get at the other stores? How can you possibly make the payments? Well, that's exactly what they want. The New World Order wants you to default on that because, after all, they have bought that mortgage the Federal Reserve has through quantitative easing. You know, they bought the house mortgages. That's what they've been buying with this. So they own your house mortgage. And now when you can't make the payment, what do? That's what they want. They want to say, well, we'll be glad to let you live in the house, just pay us rent. And Federal Reserve owns it, the elite owns it, the New World Order owns it, and you can go back now and just keep on living here a long time. And you'll give in. You'll do exactly what they've said,